wanted to talk about today was the feeling of being conspired against. That no matter what you did, the end result would be the same. And for example, let's take a look at this and unpack this for a moment. What does it mean? Now, am I talking about a paranoid, schizophrenic kind of conspired against? Oh my God, the world's against me. No. But more as an example of a relationship, where sort of everybody knows the relationship's over except you. Or if you're at work and you have coworkers that are not particularly fond of you, and they're sort of pitting against you. Or disgruntled bosses and supervisors, or even family. Sometimes our own family can conspire against us. And the funny thing is that we look at the scripture today. We have the Herodians, we have the Pharisees. Two groups that fundamentally don't even like each other, but can come together in this common conspiracy. And why? And the reason is because of their rules. We have rules, we have laws. And according to them, they have rules and laws to keep each other within the boundaries of acceptable behavior. This is how you act. Because if you don't, you're outside the rules. But what determines when we cross the line? Where does the rules stop? Where do we break the rules? Do I, as a teenager, walking across the city street of Manhattan, perform the act of jaywalking? Have I broken the rules? If I tell a little white lie to spare my wife some heartache, no, honey, you look absolutely wonderful today. Have I crossed the line? And as teenagers, do we remember coming home late and breaking curfew? Have we crossed that line? I remember in high school, as being a kid, I had the biggest crush on a girl. And I found myself after Sunday service walking through Central Park. I decided to detour and not walk up First Avenue, but I took the long way home. And along the way, I started harvesting daisies. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. And I continue to do this all the way home. And you know what? No daisy police, no harvest police came out and told me I crossed the line. I remember even so much as to go to the lengths of trying to quickly examine this daisy to determine whether it was odd or even. So I can determine whether or not I should start at she loves me or she loves me not. Did I break the rules? Did I cross the line? So we look at this and we determine, okay, first of all, where's the line? And now that they have established that Jesus crossed the line, they said, yes, you did. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable behavior. And we look at what Jesus did. He turned around and he protected his disciples and he said, no, this is okay. This is what in legal terms we now call a stare decisis. A stare decisis is a process by which case law is made. It's to say, this judge already ruled on this issue. It's a different state, it's a different place. But he already ruled. This is the answer. That's what he did with David. He said, with your golden boy came into the sacristy, he ate of the holy food, and you did nothing. Therefore, you have now changed the wine. And so what did he do to his disciples? He gathered them in, he protected them. To say, no, you have not crossed the line, you are with me. And I think in part that is the salvation that we get from Jesus. I want you to take a moment and think of this. And it's a childhood thought. It's something that we get along the way. That you go to heaven and you're going to be seated in front of the pearly gates with St. Peter. And he's going to ask you a question. But instead, from out of his back, behind his back, he pulls out a scroll and it goes whipping down the stairs of heaven as long as the eye could see, and he's going to tell you all your transgressions of where you've crossed the line. And then for a moment imagine that pit of your stomach feeling of, oh no, might I not make it? Is this bad? What's going to happen? And just at that moment when you feel your lowest, I want you to imagine Jesus coming out of the gates and saying, Peter, leave him alone. And having Jesus walk up to you, put your arm around you, him look at Peter and say, he's with me. So why? We heard today that the Sabbath was made for man. It's Jesus' gift. It's God's gift. We are not made for the Sabbath. The Pharisees crossed the line. And just as a pointer, that by Jewish law itself, you are allowed to harvest on the Sabbath, provided it's an emergency. You are allowed to heal on the Sabbath, provided it is an emergency. So what does this mean to us as Christians, as people of faith? I think the thing I want you to take away from this sermon today is the concept of Jesus' arm around us, saying he is with me. And as Jesus has his one arm extended, likewise, us as Christians need to return the favor. So in the end, it is our job to put our arm around Jesus, and in our communities, and in our places of worship, and with our friends, put our arm around Jesus and say, he's with me. Amen.
Amen.